Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Hans, and we're here to talk about books. So first of all, apologies for the voice. I've had a bit of a cold the last couple of days, but I really wanted to film this video, so we're just going to go with it. So I've added yet another reading challenge to my docket, which is the Pride Bingo reading challenge by the Reading Wren. And I will put a link to the announcement video so that you can take part too if you want to. It started on the 25th of June, but it lasts all year, and it's a bingo board of 25 different prompts for different types of queer representation in books. And since I'm in Brisbane and the Reading Wren is Australian, I thought I would do a 24-hour reading vlog completing as many of the prompts as I possibly can in that time while I'm in Australia. But first of all, let's make some tea. So there's no tea drawers, no dice this time around because I am away from home, although the Airbnb I'm in has a decent tea selection. I'm not unhappy about that, and a coffee machine, so yay. But one of the first things I did when I got to Australia was go to the T2 shop, because there are none in London anymore and I really miss it. So I got the jasmine pear green tea and the Madagascan vanilla black tea, and then I got a free bag of Relax lavender and chamomile because it was some kind of anniversary at the shop and they gave me a free box of tea. I also picked up a cute little koala infuser. And I've found some epic Kit Kats while I've been here and very much been enjoying those. So I've got the Madagascan vanilla black tea ready to go. Past me has, as always, already boiled the kettle. So here we go. Oh, I haven't had T2 tea for such a long time. Really looking forward to this. Hurrah. Now that we've got our tea, I will explain a little bit more. I am already doing Herkyard 3.0, the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, the buzzword cover challenge, the buzzword title challenge, Reddit fantasy bingo, the magical readathon, which involves the Aurelium semesters in April and September, the Patreon bog challenge for the magical readathon channel, and the Adventures in Ailsia. And I'm also doing TBR-a-thon, which has another 3 challenges related to it. So that's 10. And I have my own TBR game, which adds prompts every month. So it's getting a little bit complicated. But when I saw that the Reading Wren had done a bingo board, I was delighted because the Herkyard 3.0 challenge only has the diversity aspects, queer, disabled, BIPOC authors. If you add the extra layer of complexity of rolling dice and adding additional prompts on top of the squares that are already there. So I'm not doing that because I'm not quite that bananas to try and add that much complexity into my reading challenges, although you wouldn't think it based on the list that I just gave. But it means that there's not as much diversity baked in to the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do for me this time around. Although I've added some in with some of the customization, I am putting queer books and BIPOC authors into it. All that to say, I was delighted to have this reading challenge to prompt me to read more diversely and read more queer books. But because I've got all of this other stuff going on, so many books already planned, so many other reading challenges to take into account, I decided that I would fill my Pride Bingo card, TBR, with any Herkyard books that I've already assigned to Herkyard prompts that fit the Pride Bingo prompts, and then fill the rest of it with comics, manga, and graphic novels. So what I'm going to do for this 24 hours, what time is it? It's 1:10 in the afternoon on Sunday, the 28th of June. And I'm not planning on going out into Brisbane until tomorrow afternoon on Monday. So I am going to sleep. I'm too old to stay up all night. So I am going to sleep. But between now and when I go out tomorrow afternoon, which will be just after lunch, I am going to read as many Pride Bingo prompt fulfilling comics, picture books, graphic novels, and manga volumes as I can fit. I won't be able to do any filming of me reading them because they're all on my phone, which is currently filming. So I can't film myself reading on my phone because I would need my phone to film. Wow, the rain. The rain is next level. Australia, your rain is next level, and I'm from London. Anyway, so much faff, so much yapping. Come on, hands. You're not doing your job, keeping me on track. I'm going to go and I'm going to start reading comics and graphic novels. Can't wait. I've got them all loaded already. I'm going to see how far I get, and I will come back periodically to let you know how I'm getting on. And if it ever stops raining, I will venture out into Brisbane and perhaps do some geocaching and some wandering around and looking at the city, and perhaps film some clips to go in between while I'm here. I was hoping to be able to sit on my balcony and read. But look at this. Oh well. At least I wasn't planning on going out today. So it's about 7 hours later, and Hans and I basically haven't moved, which has been very nice. And I have read an awful lot of comics. I'm going to go through them really fast because partly I'm losing my voice and partly I don't have a huge amount to say. But I'm just going to go through what I've read and which prompts they fulfill for the different challenges. And it's a lot. I'm making good progress on everything. So, The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill is non-human protagonist for Reddit Fantasy Bingo, animal in title for Pride Bingo, and beverage on cover and cartoon cover style for Her Kid 3.0. Quadruple whammy on that one. 4.5 stars, absolutely loved it. I have put the other 2 volumes in the series on hold from Libby, which is where I read the first one. It's absolutely adorable. It's about a young girl who's training to be a blacksmith, and she rescues a tea dragon from some hungry wolves, I think, and discovers that there's a tea shop in the forest where the tea dragons are looked after and the tea is made. And she makes lots of wonderful friends and has a good time with the dragons, and they're really, really cute. So that was awesome. Next up, we've got Cosmonites Volume 1 by Hannah Templer. And the second volume is out and the third one is due, and it is meant to be a trilogy, so I'll probably read the rest. This was 3.5 stars. It was maybe a bit light on depth. Bit too much action. It's about, I know it was the world building I had the most problem with. It's about a kind of galaxy of planets that have royal families, and they hold tournaments in a medieval style where champions fight to last one standing, and the princess then has to marry whoever sponsored the winning champion. Which, you know, it's all about fighting against the patriarchy, which I'm all for. Love it as a theme. And I really liked all the characters. And there was some intriguing stuff in the plot to do with backstory of one of the characters and what may or may not have happened to her friend. But there seemed to be these tournaments like once a week or something. And somebody said at one point, oh, nothing's ever going to change unless we do something about it because they're never going to run out of princesses. I'm like, where are all these princesses coming from? Why are there so many princesses? Like a princess every week being married off. You're going to run out of princesses. I suppose it depends how many planets there are, but it just seemed princesses of marriageable age being available for winning in tournaments. Anyway, it was pretty good. Gave it 3.5 stars, and I will finish reading the series. But if it was one of these incredibly long running ones, I probably wouldn't. Cosmonauts, one-word title for both Pride Bingo and Herkyed. And I'm also using it for biomes for Herkyed because it's in space and it counts. Next up, And Tango Makes Three, which is by Justin Richardson, Peter Parnell and Henry Cole, which is fulfilling the picture book square for Pride Bingo, numerical title for Herkyed because it's got 3 in the title, and also animal families because of penguins. And this one was adorable. I mean, most of the things I've read today have been adorable, which is nice. It's a true story of 2 male penguins who were a couple at the New York Zoo in Central Park, which is amazing. I love that. Very, very well told, beautifully told story. 4 stars. Next up, A Bingo Love by T. Franklin, which is fulfilling the emotion in the title for the Pride Bingo, the Herkyed mashup, which for me is queer alphabet and BIPOC author, and a character moving on the cover because the 2 main characters are roller skating on the cover. This one was really sad. It's a woman in her late 70s telling the history of her life about the girl that she met and fell in love with in high school and then didn't see again for 50 years. So it was a lot about homophobia in the 60s and later. Some of the attitudes of her children were very disappointing in the early 2000s, but yeah, it was really sad, but very well told. 3.5 stars. Then was a tricky one because Wren put on the bingo board something published in the decade you were born in, which for me is the 70s, which was quite hard. But I found the Come Out comics by Mary Wings that were still available, were published in the 70s and still available online because they'd been scanned in. And that was about her coming out story. It was kind of autobiographical. And yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I read it. It was very well put together. It was very interesting the way the panels were kind of set up in different shapes, and the flow of the text was really interesting, made it very dynamic, and it was very real and quite painful in places, but also very sweet and really interesting. 4 stars. 2 more. The Baker and the Bard by Fern Hort, which is fulfilling the outfit you'd wear on the cover. The hard mode for this is to actually wear the outfit in a video. I do not have the appropriate clothes with me in Australia. I do own a similar outfit to the one that Juniper is wearing on the cover, but I don't have it with me. It's also going to be Feast Your Eyes for Reddit Fantasy Bingo, which is something where food is very important, and it's also food on the cover for Herkyed and animal families for the butterflies. Oh dear, this is getting bad. It's about 2 friends who go on a quest to find special glowing mushrooms for the bakery they work for. Again, very sweet, very cute. This is the one that felt a little bit slight, as if there wasn't enough depth to it, especially with the romance. But I did really enjoy it. 4 stars. And last but not least, My Brother's Husband by Gengoro Tagame, which is set in Japan, so it fulfills the set in the different country for Pride Bingo, familial terms in the title, and the mashup again for Herkyed, which is a contemporary story about a Japanese man whose twin brother dies, and they haven't been in contact for a long time, and the twin brother had moved to Canada and got married to a man who then comes to visit the family, and it's all about different cultural attitudes to things. And I thought it was really well done because it didn't shy away from the brother's prejudice and him coming to realise things about his brother's life and his own attitudes to things. And his little girl was absolutely brilliant. She just cut through all the awkwardness, asked all of the questions, was very upfront about everything and challenged a lot of her dad's views, and it was great. It was a really good exploration of what it means to be a family because he's a single father, which is also unusual. And yeah, I thought it was really good, and the development of his arc was really cleverly done and very interesting. I also wanted to say about Bingo Love, I really appreciate a fat bisexual female protagonist. As a fat bisexual woman myself, I always appreciate that in books, especially in a visual medium, and I really liked that about Bingo Love. And I don't know if I said 4 stars for My Brother's Husband. So that's 7. I think I'm doing pretty well, and I've got a lot more to do tomorrow, and hopefully I will be able to film the rest of this video, and I hope that the fact that I'm losing my voice isn't too annoying. I haven't got a sore throat or anything, it's just disappearing on me. So apologies if this has been very difficult to listen to. I will go now and hope that it's better tomorrow. So it's the next day and almost exactly 24 hours since I started this 24-hour reading vlog, and I've read 3 more graphic novels and really enjoyed all of them, so it's going very well so far. So what have I read? I have read Stone Fruit by Lee Lai, which is fulfilling the Aussie author square on Pride Bingo, and also both the regions and the mashup squares for Herkit 3.0. I enjoyed this one more than I thought I would. I don't know why I didn't think I was going to enjoy it. It's quite similar in some ways to the last one I read last night, My Brother's Husband, because it's black and white, sort of hand-drawn style, complicated family relationships, contemporary drama, challenging attitudes to stuff. So characters in the story themselves are challenging their own attitudes. It's about 2 sisters, one of whom has a 6-year-old daughter, and she is a single mother, and her sister, who is the main protagonist, is gay and is in a relationship with a trans woman. And yeah, there are issues between the sisters and also between the 2 members of the couple. Bronwyn, the trans character, is struggling quite a lot with her mental health and her relationship with her family, and that's causing strain on her relationship with Rachel Ray, the main protagonist of the story, and that's causing strain on Ray's relationship with her sister, the mother of the little girl. And also, much like My Brother's Husband, has got a little girl who is awesome and like cuts through all of the issues and the awkwardness by asking all of the questions that the adults probably want to and don't feel able to ask, and she kind of like brings them together, which is lovely. And there's a lot of complex layered relationships, a lot of stuff about family and people's attitudes to things and how to navigate that. And yeah, it was really good. I have given it 4 stars. Next up, I read The Prince and the Dressmaker by Jen Wang. And this is to fulfill the drag protagonist square, the last square on the Pride Bingo board. And I loved this one. It was a bit weird because it's like set in probably the early 20th century. There's electricity and department stores are like a new thing, but everybody's like wearing gowns and doublet and hose and stuff. So it's a bit of a kind of a mishmash of periods, but it's definitely historical. But the dialogue of the characters was very, very modern, which didn't really fit with the societal attitudes that were being portrayed in the story. So it was a little bit tonally off. But it's about a prince who likes dressing up in drag and going out of an evening in a gown, in his mother's gowns and a wig. And he employs a seamstress called Frances, who makes a whole load of new dresses for him and helps him like make a splash in his drag persona. And obviously the people in the town think that he's a woman when he's out dressed as Lady Crystalia. And then it's about his responsibilities to find a wife and secure the succession to the Belgian throne, and about Frances wanting to make a name for herself as a designer, but not being able to because she's got to keep the prince's secret. It was great. It was so cute. It was really funny. It was very heartfelt. There were some really lovely emotional moments. The characters, both the main characters, are flawed, which is always nice. It was very well done. Lots of parental attitudes challenged and changed, which is lovely. I really, really enjoyed it. And I don't think I'm using it for Herc Kid. I've decided I didn't want to try and... I could force it because there's the ones where, cover styles I could use because that's quite broad. The number of words in the title is always a good one. But I want to keep those for other things. And I don't want to just kind of crowbar all of these comics into the Herc Kid spreadsheet. It's not really cheating at all, and there is no such thing. But I just decided I didn't want to take the books that I want to read, and if I don't have them in my Herc Kid spreadsheet, I might not get around to them. So I have not put it for any Herc Kid prompts. And I'm giving it 4.5 stars. The tonal issue just took it off 5 stars, but otherwise really loved it. And the one that I just finished was Mismatched by Anne Camlin, which is fulfilling the gay square on the Pride Bingo, and also the remix square because it's a retelling of Jane Austen's Emma. And I'm putting it in for the Choose Your Own curriculum for Herc Kid as literature, because technically it's literature because it's a retelling of Emma. And I really enjoyed this one. It's set in the modern day in a high school, and it's gender flipped as well as queer because the main character, Evan, is a gay junior in high school with a social media following. He's very popular, and then it follows broadly the plot of Emma. It has the same issues as Emma. Emma isn't my favourite Jane Austen novel. I still love it, but it's not my favourite. There are some issues in terms of the relationship that ends up being the main romance, and Evan's realisation about that didn't quite work for me the way it was done in this, but I loved all the other characters. A lot of it was very clever. It was very cute. I liked both main families, really great. 4 stars, so it's going really well. And since it is only 1:30 in the afternoon and I don't have to go out until 6 o'clock, and I don't want to go out because I don't want to risk getting more ill. I feel fine. I'm still very throaty, as you can tell. I'm going to keep going. Because while it's been 24 hours since I started this challenge, I've only actually read for about 10 hours. So I'm going to carry on, see how far I get. I did try and read outside for a bit on the balcony, but it was too sunny. Yesterday it was pouring with rain, today it was too sunny. So I'm very hard to please, but hey, I'm British, so what do you expect? So yeah, I'm going to carry on and see how much further I can get before I have to go out. I'm outside. I made it, look. It's blue sky. The world is out here, and so am I. I've got little owl friends. Oh, I'm very happy. It's not raining, it's not too sunny. Just perfect. Yay, reading outside. And one of the Her Kid squares for Her Kid 3.0 is to read a book outside. And it seems like a very silly opportunity to miss, since graphic novels only take me about an hour to read, to tick off that square. So that's what I'm going to do. So I finally made it properly outside in Brisbane. It was very sunny when I first got up this morning. It's a bit cloudy now, but it's still perfectly nice. And I'm down next to the river, as you can see. Just had the most amazing breakfast I think I've ever eaten in my life. Here we go. Yeah, found a cafe and had, what was it, mushrooms on sourdough, but it had crispy potatoes and kale and pesto and nuts and jam. I think the jam was what did it. Absolutely phenomenal. So very, very nice breakfast. And I read some more comics last night and over breakfast this morning. And I think I'm done for this vlog. What did I read? I read My Journey to Her, which fulfills the manga square on the Pride Bingo and is a really interesting non-fiction about a Japanese trans woman going to Thailand for gender affirming surgery. It had a lot of the kind of really silly sort of humour and formatting and melodrama aspects that manga have that I don't necessarily always like. But it worked really well in conjunction with the quite harrowing story in a lot of ways, and it gave me a lot of interesting information that I didn't already know about this subject, so I'm glad I read it. Then I read Galaxy, The Prettiest Star, and its sequel, As the World Falls, and the sequel is fulfilling the last one in a series for the Pride Bingo. And yeah, I enjoyed that one too. It's about a princess from another planet whose planet is destroyed by an alien hive mind, and she and several of the other people from the planet hide on Earth and look human. They're kind of transformed into humans, but in order to hide her, she is transformed into a human teenage boy and is going to high school, and eventually she comes across the artifact that will change her back, and she starts wandering around as herself. And that's not as ridiculous and what's the word, sort of revelatory as you might expect, because it's in the DC universe, so there are other aliens wandering about and Superman is a character. Yeah, it took me a little while to get into it, but I really liked her girlfriends and I really liked her robot dog. It felt like when I was reading the second volume as if I'd missed an installment somehow along the way, so I don't know whether I've missed there being a second one, but it got really interesting and the story was really fun and I loved the way it ended. It was very cute, so that was cool. What was next? Oh, then yes, I couldn't get hold of an e-copy of the original comic that I'd picked for the 5+ words in the title square, but I found a different one. So I read the first volume of I Want to Be a Wall, and that was another manga, and it was very silly but also very sad, and it's about a young Japanese couple. The woman is asexual and obsessed with boy love manga, and the man is gay and in love with his childhood best friend, and they get married. But it was really, really sweet because the communication between the two of them over the course of this first volume was really lovely. And there's only 2 more in the series, so I'm probably going to read the rest of it because I really enjoyed that one. So that brings me up to last night, and then the ones that I read over breakfast were Heartstopper, volumes 1 and 2. I've seen the whole of the TV show and I'm really looking forward to the concluding movie. But I'd never read the comics, so I picked volume 1 because it fulfills the recommendation from one of Wren's 5 Friday videos, because that's in the list, and the second volume, and probably also 3, 4 and 5, because I'll probably read them later today, fulfill the bisexual square because Nick is bisexual. And if you don't know what Heartstopper's about, read the comics, watch the TV show. Absolutely amazing. 2 boys in school in the UK, one of whom is gay and the other of whom discovers that he is bisexual. They get together and there's lots of stuff to do with their friendship group and their relationship, and it's just adorable. So I think that brings me to 15 prompts fulfilled in what, 2 days? Yeah, it's about 2 days now. So this ended up being a 48-hour reading vlog, not a 24, but actual reading time I think is about 16 hours. I did 15 squares done, 10 left to go. Probably going to wait and read the rest of the Pride Bingo books across the year in conjunction with my Herculean journey. So thank you so much to the Reading Wren for putting this together and inspiring me to make this vlog while I am in Australia. I'm going home in a couple of days, but I've had a really fantastic time and I'm very glad that I've managed to experience some of the Brisbane River Walk, which I will continue now, and also go to probably the South Bank tomorrow. I hope you have enjoyed this vlog. Please do like the video if you liked it and subscribe if you want more content. My Australia vlog is going to have Hans the dog rather than Stanley the bear, but ordinarily Stanley, my giant teddy bear, who wasn't able to come to Australia with me sadly, is my co-host. And we talk about books and do lots of challenges and various fun things. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye.